All right, I've showed you maybe the most competitive legendaries of all time. Today, I'm going to show you the wackiest cards that Hearthstone has available. All right.
Okay.
The first one I have been waiting to show you forever. And the reason is, well, you know what? I'm going to let you read it.
Zephrys the Great.
Yep.
2 mana, 3/2 elemental battle cry. If your deck has no duplicates, wish for the perfect card. If your deck has no duplicates, wish for the perfect card. Do you get it? Or are you just wishing? What? Like, I can wish for anything. I don't usually get them granted, to be fair.
Before I explain how this card works, let me ask you 2 questions. One, how do you think it works?
I don't know. Okay, let's see. In real life, when I just wish for the perfect card, I just pray that I draw a thing that's already in my deck because I build my decks perfectly. So the perfect card's in my deck and then I draw it. And that's awesome. Okay. So if this works the way it should work, if you're me, then you should just get a card that solves the problem.
You're thinking this card will look through your deck and find the perfect card for the specific time in the game.
Well, it says wish for it. In Magic, we actually had a cycle of wishes. They were called wishes. An example of this is a card called Cunning Wish. Okay. And what Cunning Wish did is let you search outside the game for an instant and put it into your hand. And that meant in tournament Magic, that meant your sideboard. But in casual Magic, that just meant your collection.
So that's actually insane because I feel like the team based Zephrys off the idea of in your collection, which is kind of how this works. So I'm going to, first and foremost, do you think this card's good?
You're wishing for the perfect card. But the question is, wishing doesn't get, here's where card games and IRL are clashing, dude. In card games, like in Magic, I cunning wish and I go get the perfect card and I play it because I'm brilliant and I know what the perfect card is because I'm good at games and I win. But in real life, wishing gets you jack shit. In real life, you just sit there wishing and hoping and nothing happens. It's hard work and effort, or that's what my dad told me.
Okay. Sounds like you got some trauma. Sounds like you got some, you're right.
It depends. If you're telling me this card is 2 mana for a 3/2, you wish for the perfect card and it goes into your hand, that is the most busted card. It is insane, and this card wouldn't possibly exist. So obviously what's tied into this is the concept of what wishing is. It's not exactly what you want it to be, or this card would be busted. This card would be banned on the spot banned. Okay. So the whole idea is they made this card, they put it in the set, and everybody's like, I don't know. I have to play it to find out. So you have to craft it. You have to spend your dollars. You have to put this on the stack. You got to go on Twitter. You got to watch your favorite streamer. You know, right. Rarran, pitch your Twitch live schedule right now.
I don't have
one. Perfect. And that's how you find out what wishing for the perfect card is. I'm going to guess in Hearthstone that you pick a card name, and if it's on top of your deck, it goes to your hand.
Okay. So obviously this card's very good. Getting the perfect card's great. The way that this actually works is very interesting. And this is when this card was first released, people like, I'm assuming Magic almost does the same thing when they do like the reveal season. They kind of just post the card on Twitter and then you just hope you kind of understand it just from the card image alone. So Hearthstone has this really bad problem, obviously, where it kind of just says what the card does, but it doesn't describe how it does it because they want to put it in as little text as possible, learning from Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Where Yu-Gi-Oh describes literally the entire interaction. The way this works is that you play this card for 2 mana. It will look at the context of the board, your minions, your opponent's minions, if they have a threat in terms of stats. It doesn't read any cards, it doesn't read your hand. It looks at your opponent's life. It looks at your life. It looks at a snapshot of the board and then gives you 3 options from either the classic set or the basic set to pick from based on the context of the board. So in other words, you get lethal on, if you had a lot of damage on board, but you needed like Savage Roar from classic to get lethal, it would give you Savage Roar. Or if you needed healing because you would have died, it would give you healing from classic or basic. If you needed Brawl because you needed a removal and you had 5 mana left over, it would give you a Brawl. So Zephrys tries his absolute best to understand what is happening on the board and then gives you an option based on what, or gives you 3 options based on what the board looks like to him.
I imagine the experiments done around this card to see like what it understood and what it was taking into account were interesting.
It actually did like a whole video on this a really long time ago. It is the most complex card in Hearthstone, but as far as I understand, it's just a bunch of if statements. It just checks a bunch of different parameters to see like what it should give you.
Lethal, how big the board is, what cards are in your hand, like that kind of thing.
It doesn't even read what cards in your hand. It can't do that either.
No?
It's just what's on board, what's available at a game state.
Okay.
This card, for the record.
Okay, go on.
No, I don't know if that sounds impressive to you.
I don't know.
So you can see why I didn't show you this card for so long, because it's like such a whack card. This card was maybe the best card of the year, and this is usually put into Highlander decks. This card was so good that people would actually run it in non-Highlander decks, and you would just draw through your entire deck until you had no duplicates, and then you would Shadow Step, or you put it back in your hand, or it would just give you a perfect answer. It is, during that era, the strongest card I want to say I've released that year for sure.
This might be the most insane thing I've ever seen. What happens when you just play it on, like, if you run a Highlander deck and you play it on turn 2, what happens?
So if you're on turn 2, again, it's the context of the board, but let's say you played, like, this is why it's so interesting. The more you play with it, the more interesting it gets. If there was nothing on board and you just play it, it would give you wild growth to play on turn 3. Like,
cool.
it would give that option.
Isn't that already like the most busted 2-mana card?
It was phenomenal. It was, you would keep it in your hand every single time you got it. It's amazing. But on top of that, the versatility of a card like this is insane, right? As long as you understand that it only pulls from classic and basic, you can manipulate it in so many different ways. For instance, like, if you had 10 mana, you could play your mana, play Zephrys at the end of your turn, and then Zephrys could understand that, oh, you just need a card for next turn. So then it would give you like Lord Draxus from Classic if you needed like the value or something. It would.
Sure.
It is so revolutionary in terms of just what Hearthstone could do, but like this is the pinnacle design for what a only online card game can do.
It's crazy. AI is taking over the game. Like, you have a computer assistant playing the game with you. You don't. I thought Wish would at least mean you had to give it some kind of input. No, it just knows. Well, it knows the perfect
you
card.
You do need to give it some input. Like it won't just know off. Like you can manipulate the board to give it the highest % chance to give you the perfect card.
See, that's the card gamer in you. That's the min-maxing card gamer in
no,
us,
no,
right?
We gotta set up
Zephrys. No, just play Zephrys. He knows. The AI knows.
He doesn't, because when you play it once and he doesn't give you the fucking perfect card, you're never gonna forget that moment. Then you're gonna yell at him, even though he's trying his best.
You're gonna post it on Twitter, and you're gonna be angry.
And then you're gonna be like, oh, these stupid devs didn't realize I need this.
You got a 2-mana 3/2 that comes with a good guard. What do you want? I would take draw a card. This is messed up. This is messed up. Right. I love trying to trick him into getting you what you really want. It sounds like writing fake letters to Santa because you know who will read them. But my God. Murloc Holmes. 3 mana, 3/4 Murloc. Battle cry. Solve 3 clues about your opponent's cards to get copies of them. Ooh, solve 3 clues about your opponent's cards.
Before I tell you how this works, what do you think the clues are?
What do I think the clues are? So it has to be hidden information, because like what are we talking about? If there's a face up like 1/1 on the board and it picks that, how would a clue do anything?
Question.
I guess you could ask it's like, one card is this rarity, which one, touch the card that is of this rarity or from this set, right? You could play trivia, but that's more trivia than clues. I think what I like better is like you predict what's in their hand, but I don't know if it can do that.
Now, reminder, you just saw Zephrys.
Yeah.
The technology is there for something along those lines.
Yeah. So like the AI is like, do they have, for example, a secret, in their hand, or do they have a 4-mana crystal 4/5, and you pick Chillwind Yeti, and you get a Chillwind Yeti.
Okay, I'm gonna explain how this works, sorry, and then you're gonna tell me whether or not you think this card's good. What he'll do is he'll show you first. You're gonna guess if a card started in your opponent's hand.
Ooh.
Based on the clues given so far, could you guess if a card is in their hand? Then, if you get that right, it will ask you what card is in their current hand. And then if you get that right, you can pick a card, or you try to pick a card that is in their deck. If you get all 3 clues right, you get every single one in your hand.
Oh, so did they give you, so for the first one, figuring out if a card was in their opening hand, did they give you card name?
They show you 3 options to pick from. And then each of these has 3 options. One of them is correct every single time. And that's where the clues come in.
So if they're like turn 3 or turn 2 or whatever it is like wild growth into Chillwind Yeti, and then you play this and one of the cards is Chillwind Yeti, and you're like, that was in their opening hand, and you're right, you'll get a Yeti.
No. You
have to get all of them right.
You have to get all of them right.
But in this case, that is right.
Yes.
We'll say that's right. Then the second clue is what's currently in their hand, and you're like, Savage Roar.
Yep.
And they're like, ding, you're doing great. And then the last one, they're like, Force of Nature comes up, and you're like, Force of Nature's in their deck. Yep. And it's ding, ding, ding. And now you get a Chillwind Yeti, a Savage Roar, and a Force of Nature, and you win because you can't be beaten.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Do you think that card is playable?
I mean, I want it to be playable. That is like a skill check. If you're good at the game, you draw 3. Every time. But they're from the opponent's deck. They are random. They might not be good with your cards, but it is material. Is this card good? I'm guessing that the fail state is too bad, because it's like you get one thing wrong. Maybe they didn't have the Chillwind Yeti. Maybe they top decked the Chillwind Yeti, right? You get one thing wrong and you did a 3 mana for a 3/4. That is probably not that far from losing the game in a more modern Hearthstone environment, basically. So I'm guessing no, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're pretty much right. The like you said, the problem is, like, if you don't get any of them right, you don't get any cards, and you're playing a vanilla 3 mana 3/4, which isn't great. It was played in like Control Priest and maybe a couple Highlander decks here and there, but yeah, it was never like a mainstay. All right, what's your next card? If I've shown you this card, by the way, I'm sorry, but I don't think I have.
I don't think I have. Hold on. I read the text too quickly. That I'm supposed to read this out loud and react. That was just a reaction. No, I'm fine. This is fine. Myra's Unstable Element, 5 mana, draw the rest of your deck. That doesn't kill you in Hearthstone. Well, no, it does in a different way.
I will give you like gameplay how this works. You can only have a cap of 10 cards. So when you play Myra's, it will draw up till 10 cards and the rest of your deck is completely discarded. And they don't die. Like, you can't get those spells back once they're discarded. Like, they are completely gone from the game. And then you'll start drawing fatigue.
Okay. So, dude, I rip a whole hand off this card? Are you kidding me? How awesome is that?
It's pretty good.
Okay, the max hand size is a bummer. Like, you guys kind of screwed that up. That's terrible.
Well, you just want to fill the hand up? It'd be so cool if you had 30 cards in your hand.
Dude, in Magic the Gathering, I have... There are things I have done on Magic Arena to draw like up to something like 70. I've had like 80 cards in my hand.
Oh, see, that sounds so overwhelming.
Oh, it's awesome. It's amazing. It's amazing. We have something like this card, Enter the Infinite. It's like 12 mana. This is 5.
Yeah.
This would be the greatest Magic card of all time. I would love this card so much. Oh my God.
Is it good in Hearthstone is the question.
The fact that you can't draw over 10 sucks, because if that weren't the case, it could very well just draw you into some combo that wins you the game, so you don't have to worry about next turn, you know?
Right.
Like, so in Hearthstone, it's worse because there's almost an RNG element to it, where like if you have 3 cards in hand and you play this, you're going to draw 5 cards, but then you're going to incinerate like 20, right?
Yeah, for Magic.
No, more than that. It's like Magic. 7.
Yeah.
You're going to draw like 7 cards for Hearthstone and then incinerate like 20 some. And you might not have the card you need anymore. And now you're drawing fatigue, so you're dying. So that's very sad. But like, dude, you don't have to like slap it down on turn 5. Like, you can play out all your stuff. You can grind to something like parity on turns like 8, 9, 10, then cast this and vroom. Now you have access to 10 cards. You play the best freaking stuff. Yeah, I mean, you're in fatigue, but you just have 1 or 2 turns, and you just drew like a ton of cards, so why can't you beat your opponent from there? Dude, this card is great. There has to be cases for this card. I mean, when was this card released?
This is 2017.
Okay.
No, 2018, sorry, 2018.
Okay, closer to a modern era of Hearthstone.
It's actually closer to classic than it is to modern now.
That's true. We are old. That is correct. Hearthstone boomers are now real. They used to always be Zoomers. They were always children in Magic players' eyes. Now they're the same age as us.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, dude, there had to be a deck.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you context here. So when the Boomsday product was released, which is second expansion of 2018, every single class got a legendary spell, and this is Rogues. Rogue got probably one of the more interesting ones, but it ended up being one of the worst cards in the game.
You are an immense disappointment now.
I'm kidding. It was phenomenal. Yeah, so you're thinking about a late game deck. Myra's was actually really good in like an aggro tempo kind of deck. You would play your hand.
I should have asked if this was Rogue. I should have, like, if this was Rogue, that changes everything for me. Yeah.
So it was really good in those decks because you would flood the board, your opponent would have to respond, and it's like Hearthstone didn't have the draw, like the draw density as it does now, and all of a sudden Rogue gets a full hand again. And the trade-off is like, oh, you don't have a deck anymore, but if you're not going to draw those cards anyways, you would have lost the game regardless. So this is where this card really, it was a staple in almost every tempo Rogue deck until it rotated. It was really good in Odd Rogue, which is a conversation for a different time. Really, really cool card. I actually can't believe I ever showed you this. I must have showed Siva. That's why I was like a little scared that I may have shown it to you.
I can't believe you didn't either. This is the coolest card. This card is freaking sweet. Yes.
I'm telling you, this whole video is gonna blow your mind. Like I'm waiting for this.
The Ryecleaver. The Ryecleaver. 5 mana, 4/2, Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Get a slice of bread. What? Get 2
like that?
Get 2 to sandwich any minions in between. What? Get 2 to sandwich. Get 2 what? Get 2 to sandwich and okay. So getting a slice of bread means you get 2 must apply to the slice of bread. So you get, why would it say a slice of bread if you get 2? Anyway, you get, okay, so it enters and you get a card called Slice of Bread, and then when it goes away, you get another card called Slice of Bread.
Magic the Gathering player tries to make a sandwich in real time. Okay, let me explain.
And then any minions, so then you put them on either side of your minions, and now your minions are food. What are we achieving? I don't understand.
Okay, let me explain. Okay. The Ryecleaver, when you play it with the Battle Cry, you get a Slice of Bread. The Slice of the Bread is the bottom right card. There it is, okay? What that will do is that will add it to your hand, okay? Then you'll notice the Ryecleaver also has a Death Rattle. So after 2 swings, you'll get another Slice of Bread.
Hold on. Do you have the Slice of Bread image for me?
It's bottom right.
Oh, I see them now. Thank you.
Okay.
I didn't actually look at them before. Oh, minion sandwich. Okay, 3. Summon the minion stuffed in this sandwich. The fuck is this? What the heck? Okay, go on.
Okay, so then once you have enough minions in your sandwich, you then will swing your Ryecleaver again, which will put another piece of bread on the other side of your hand. Anything that is a minion between those 2 breads will become a minion sandwich, which is that 3 mana spell that you see above. Once you cast the 3 mana spell, the minion sandwich, any minions that are in your sandwich will be summoned. You won't get their battle cries, but they will be summoned. So the concept is with this card is like you would play the Ryecleaver, you would draw some minions. There are cards that will tutor specific minions, and then you would kill your Ryecleaver so you get the sandwich, and then you play your sandwich.
And by killing it, you just use it up, right? It's a weapon. Yeah. That's how that works. It has a expiration. Yeah.
It has the durability. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What? That is some inspired design.
It's a masterpiece, to be honest.
It kind of is. It kind of is. Why should reading the card explain the card when it can just do something awesome instead?
Exactly.
Honestly, Magic could learn something here. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
I mean, the digital, this is where the digital application is huge. Okay, Magic Alchemy design needs to learn from this. Don't even worry about them understanding what the card does. Just make them want to play it and figure it out. Like that's what this philosophy is. I dig it. I'm actually into it. Some people hate it, but some people love it.
This was, I think in terms of like flavor, it's a really good design. But like people were getting a little tired of sets like this. Is one of the issues, because like it's like very like whatever. It's not really Warcrafty. It's kind of just like super random is the trade-off. But regardless, do you think this card was played?
Dude, I have no idea. What the hell? Okay, you want me to try to conceptualize if this is good? I mean, I could see it. Like that is kind of a gross cheating of cost. Not getting battle cries is a big deal, but they come with their death rattles. They come with whatever synergies they have. What class is this?
This is warrior.
Warrior? I mean, that's a lot. That could be a board, you know, an aggro warrior with a bunch of, I mean, and it could be expensive minions. Like this could stuff some real bangers in there. I don't know, dude. That seems good. Maybe the upside seems there. I'm guessing there was a Ryecleaver warrior deck of the moment.
And you think it was good or bad?
I'm going to guess it was B tier.
Okay. So this card was released at 7 mana. I think the sandwich was at 2 when they released that. And that card was...
all right. That's the trend.
It was very bad at 7 mana. The unfortunate reality is just how fast Hearthstone's become, because getting a bunch of stats on the board is not going to really solve a lot of your problems against some of the decks. So they buffed it to 5 mana in the hopes that it would be playable. Currently, I looked it up. The current deck is at 36% win rate.
I should have asked, is this a new card? Oh, God.
Yeah, if this card was released like 4 years before, it would have maybe gone crazy. Unfortunately for the Ryecleaver, it is not playable at all. Post rotation, could get there.
Lumia is a 6 mana 9/9 lifesteal that says after a hero takes damage, they become immune for the rest of the turn. After a hero takes damage, they become immune.
Yeah, so it is both sides.
Yeah. So you want to hit your opponent last, and you want to, and man, when they hit you, oh, rough. That's rough. Oh, geez. When was this released?
Latest expansion.
Unplayable.
Really?
Totally. Like 6 mana, and all you do is attack. If you survive a turn, unplayable.
It's more nuanced than all you do is attack. But yeah, I can get your point.
Let me think. Yeah, I mean, 6 mana, or you cheat this out, and then like you can make yourself immune, and then play a card that maybe like lets you take some huge amount of damage to everything, and it doesn't kill you. It sounds like a combo piece, but I'm still looking at it like this reminds me of Magic cards like Platinum Angel or Herald of the New Dawn, which was a Foundations card we reviewed. And I remember your review of it, and you were right that this is like just a big creature and boom, dies to removal, and then nobody cares. And it had kind of a similar can't lose the game when it's on the field. Not the same effect, but they still have to take damage. So like if you're just dead to like a 5/5 and they hit you with a 5/5, you didn't do anything. You achieved nothing. Fair.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm guessing honestly this card is big, cool, not playable card.
I think that's actually the perfect description of it. I was scrolling through HS Replay to see if like any deck was actually playing it at the moment. It seems like no one is trying it out.
Why would they?
Why would they?
Doesn't attack the turn it comes in cost 6?
Yeah. I'm just trying to... Unfortunate. Yeah, I was just curious to see what your take on that card is, but you're entirely right. It is just unplayable. Again, a card that maybe in older Hearthstone would have been really, really good. Just doesn't see any play.
Dude, when we were kids, these cards would be bangers, man. Bangers. Yeah. What happened to our games? What are the bangers of today? What are we teaching the children? What are we teaching the children about card games?
Don't play card games.
It's disgusting. It's honestly disgusting. What, turn 2? You haven't won by now? Loser.
Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just the best game of all time.
This is a 6 mana, 6/7. Before I read the rest, when did this come out?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, fine. Yeah, you have a video to make. I get it. Spore Empress Moldara reminds me of Muldrotha from Magic. A lot, actually. All right, start of game. Shuffle 7 replicating spores into your deck. Nice. And replicating spore is 5 mana to summon a random 5-cost minion. Your future spores summon it as well. This card is sick. This card is cool. All right, so this is in your deck at all. And at the start of the game, you get 7 of the replicating spore. If it's just in your deck at all, it doesn't have to be in your opening hand.
Yes. So basically what will happen is you make the deck. When you launch the game, this man will pop up on the screen to notify that your opponent that you are playing it. And then it'll shuffle 7 copies of it in your deck. This way you can't get it in your mulligan.
So you can build with this in mind, and you can say, okay, I will play no 5s and I'll play no 10s because I want my 5s and 10s to be this thing. Or then your random 5-cost minion, just your good old Lothib or whatever. Try to remember some of the other stuff I saw. It's just that pretty face smiling back at me. You just get your good old 5-cost sludge, whatever it was.
Sludge Belcher, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the one, Sludge Belcher. And that's all you do. Your 5 mana play is not great. It's random. It could be great. It's probably not optimal. It's probably not optimal, is fair to say.
Okay.
But the next one you play.
Yeah.
So your future replicating spores. So this is a spell, right? So like this spell is also summoning it, like it's a lasting effect.
What do you mean by lasting effect?
So like this doesn't have to be on the field or anything.
No.
To trigger the second summon. It's the way I think it is.
Yeah, yeah. There's no there's no games here. Like you pay 5 mana, it will summon the first minion. You pay 5 mana again, you'll get the minion for the first one, you'll get a new one, and then all the way up to 7.
I mean, that's good. That now you're getting value. That's got to be Disneyland. It has to be.
remind yourself, you are in Warrior. Warrior is
I knew this was Warrior.
Only class in the game. Warrior's the only. I mean, there's other classes. Warrior is the main class in the game that can go over 30 life. The best minion you can get, I'll show you if you're curious at all. Do you even want me to show you?
Yeah, I do. Sandcastle.
Sandcastle.
What? You're right. Sandcastle. I see it now. Weird.
It actually fits the theme of this video. I should have showed him I should have showed you Sandcastle. He's very fanatic.
This is a new card, isn't it?
This is a new card. Yep.
5 mana, 3/8 rush. After this attacks, turn into a location. Hold
on, I'm trying to show you what the location is. Give me a sec. I'm gonna grab it.
I was gonna say it better not just be a sandcastle.
This card is the reason why it's a high roll is hopefully you'll see right here.
Sandcastle is Sandcastle is a 5 mana, 8 armor. Give a friendly minion +3 attack and rush and turn back into a minion.
So I'll kind of explain how this works. You play Sandcastle, you attack into something, then it'll turn into this location. Now, the health at the bottom of the Sandcastle location is the same as the health of Sandcastle. So it doesn't go infinite. If Sandcastle is 5 health and turns into a location, there's 5 durability. You use 1 durability to give a friendly minion +3 attack and rush, and then it transforms back into Sandcastle as it was before. And then you could attack again with it. You can only do that once every other turn because the location will have to take its time to like cool down. But if you get this first in your Spore, that means every time you summon it, you get rush with Sandcastle and you give another minion rush. That's the highest high roll you can get from this. The lowest,
unbelievable poggies.
Unbelievable. Like it is. You will probably win the game for that. I'm gonna be honest. This is the lowest roll though.
Have you ever done it?
I have done it. Yes. I will tell you right now. In terms of minions in standard, right now there is currently 97 5 drops.
Okay. And it does check the standard card pool.
It only checks the standard card pool.
Okay. Wishing Well is 5 mana for an 07. After you play a coin, get a random legendary minion from another class and set its cost to 1. Oh, so if you don't have the coin, you just got an 07.
Yeah.
Have you gotten this one?
Yeah.
Did you win?
I don't think so.
Just checking. Just checking. Dude, the deck is fire. Like, I mean, who doesn't want to play like a control deck that just values out of its mind by drawing replicating spores and getting RNG'd to the max?
Yeah.
It seems like it should be. So it's definitely a content deck. I mean, you revealed that yourself by talking about it. Is it a good deck is what I'm supposed to figure out? Like, was this played at Worlds is what I'm supposed to figure out?
Was Moldara ever played in a competitive deck in Standard? Was it played in like an actual good deck in Standard? Doesn't even have to be World.
That's a great question. I don't even have a good analog to this in Magic. Not like a good one. I'm a believer. I'll say yes.
No, it's so bad. It came out this expansion too. It's so bad. Now, hold on though. Hold on. To give Moldara some credit, on the cusp of being actually playable. Like, it's not a horrible card. Because it's in Warrior, it has potential. After rotation, ask me this question again if this card's playable. Because I think depending on what the next expansion is and what it contains, this card actually might go crazy. What's that number at the top left? What is that? What does that say for me?
I believe that's 100. I have seen this card. I saw this card on Twitter. I didn't read anything else. I just saw the post. You see, because of you and your nonsense and your videos, I have been a sponsored Hearthstone creator, so I followed the account. And yeah, this came across my timeline. And how do you not say, what the hell is that to a 100 cost?
You're right.
Minion.
The most expensive card in Hearthstone of all time. Right.
I could not recite the rest of the text. I just remember the 100 for sure. Okay. All right. The Ceaseless Expanse. 15/15 cost 1 less for each time a card was drawn, played, or destroyed. Battlecry, destroy all other minions. Wow. Wow. I have questions.
Go for it. What's up?
First of all, card design. Great job. You play the game, eventually you can have this thing.
Yep.
I don't even know if that's reasonable. So here's the thing, right? You can be a nerd and you can go do the math on some sample of games that maybe you like watch on YouTube or track on your own of what cost this gets to in a typical game of Hearthstone, right? Screw that. The idea is you put your money down, you craft this thing, and you go out there with the mission. It's a cool quest. That's the idea. It's a cool quest.
Okay, so you want
Galactus? Yeah, you want Galactus, you got to go try and play Galactus.
Okay.
So you put it in whatever the most controlly blow up everything deck you can have, right?
Okay.
And you see if you just get there. I'm guessing the answer was no. That's my gut. My gut says you're going to get this to about 60 if with a deck like that.
Okay.
So then my next question is, was this available with ways to like cheat it out or make a 1/1 copy like a card whose name I can't remember right now?
I will say to you, like, if your idea is to get this out without paying its mana cost and get the battle cry, no.
Nothing like that.
No.
Okay. Dude. Then there has to be a deck that would do this, has to be some kind of a combo, basically. You have to draw and play a lot of cards that just spin your wheels to get the cost low enough to actually get this spent with mana crystals. This can't be playable. This
was released in the latest expansion as well.
Yeah.
And this is probably the second best card of the expansion. See,
what?
I was like, I remember they revealed this card. And I was talking to Alex Smith. He was one of the designers of Hearthstone. And I said to him, there is no fucking way this card's playable. There's no way. And he says to me, I was not a believer like you until I played with it. And lo and behold, this is one of the best cards in the set. At Worlds, this card was playable. And it was very good at Worlds.
Wow.
It is currently being played. It's in a variety of different decks. It is very good. And I think even after rotation, this card will continue to see play because the game will slow down. I should send you at one point, there is a deck that was played at Worlds, which the whole concept was to take a snapshot of your hand, shuffle it into your deck, which contained the Ceaseless Expanse, bounce the legendary that gives you the snapshot so you can keep doing it. It's called Infinite Warrior. You never hit fatigue. You just kept clearing their board with Ceaseless Expanses over and over again. It was,
oh my God,
absolutely insane to watch. It was played throughout the entire World Championship. Very, very, very good card.
So this is a little side story, but it is super niche. I was in a situation where my friend was playing for a Pro Tour invite in the finals of a tournament, and there was no time left in the tournament because they had gone too long, meaning the hall was closing. We were literally losing the place to play the game. So they had to have a winner, and they had just started, like the match was just starting, and we had like 5 minutes. And the judge declared sudden death, first point of damage, loses.
Wow.
Like the first person to take damage loses. And then you shuffled, you mulliganed based on this information. And yeah, it was possible to win that game on turn 1.
Yeah, any point of like pig damage would go crazy.
There were lands at the time that dealt damage to their controllers. You could, oh my God, it's a whole story, but yeah, that was the thing that happened.
If you take a damage, you lose. If
you take a damage, you lose. Yeah,
that'd be funny. Okay,
Majordomo Executus. Majordomo Executus. Thank you.
You're good.
Appreciate that.
Executus sounds like a sick name, though. I'm not gonna lie.
9 mana, 9/7, Death Rattle. Replace your hero with Ragnaros the Fire Lord. I'm trying to remember. I think I know this.
So Reg is an 8 mana legendary that is an 8/8, can attack at the end of your turn, deal 8 damage.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
When Majordomo dies, your hero is transformed to this.
And there is Ragnaros the Fire Lord with 8.
8.
Yes.
Your max health is 8. You can't go above 8 anymore. That's your max health. But it will turn your current health into 8. Okay, and then this is your hero power.
Die insect. There we go. 2 crystals to deal 8 damage to a random enemy. Yes, of course. Of course. So this has to die. And then you have to not die.
Yep. that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, this sounds like a lot can go wrong. This sounds like so much can go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picturing much better cards than this just in old Hearthstone. I'm saying no. I'm giving this a no, dog.
Okay, what if I told you there's a card called Treachery for Warlock that allows you to give a minion to your opponent?
Okay.
So how do you feel about that?
How much is it?
3 mana.
It's 3 mana, so it's Harmless Offering from Magic. And is that all it does?
Yeah, it's all it does.
It's all it does. So you could give them this. They still have to not, like, if they kill it first, you still boned yourself. That's tempting. It's still a no for me. Okay, it's still a no. No. You're messing with me. I see it. I see what you're trying to do there.
It always has been bad. It's never been good. It's actually really unfortunate. It's a really cool card. But yeah, the fact is, man, you gotta play it. Like, it's not even Rag is the problem necessarily, because you could actually mitigate his biggest problem, which is being an 8 health, because you can use cards that increase your max health. But the biggest issue is not playing a 9 mana 9/7. Is
Kil'jaeden. What am I looking at? Looks like a hand for a face. What's going on?
Wait, can you not see him? His
I see the face now. Yeah. I thought it was like a long nose or something. I don't know. It looks like a dragon. Like picture that the things on the shoulder are horns and that the green is an eye. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
And a 7 mana 7/7 demon. Should have been a 6 mana 6/6. Just saying. Battle Cry, replace your deck with an endless portal of demons. Each turn they gain an additional +2. Ooh. Ooh. So
okay, go for it. You want me to,
No. You tell me. I think I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
I'm just gonna describe to you what this actually means in gameplay. Okay, your deck is no longer there. You can no longer fatigue for the rest of the game. You can also never add a card to this portal. You are going to get a random demon across any class with the additional +2/+2 every single turn. You will draw 1 card per turn. If you have an additional way to draw cards, you will be able to draw multiple demons.
Ooh. And there are demons of different costs, like 3, 4,
There's
5.
1 all the way. I could get the exact number for you, but you can go 1 all the way up to 10.
Okay, because in Magic, they're an expensive type, and you would expect to not pay more, like less than like 5, you know. Awesome card. Can't fatigue. Let's go. I wish so much that the draw your deck card was in this class.
I mean, this is
I guess you draw nothing.
I actually have no idea how that interacts with Myra's. This is a neutral card, by the way. You can put this in any class.
God, is there a place where you play this? I'm sure that some degenerates immediately looked at this as no fatigue. Let's go. Whether or not this is good, when did it come out?
This expansion.
Oh, come on now. Come on now.
I just showed you a 100 mana card and you told me it was bad.
You're going to play a 7 mana 7/7 and then untap the next turn? What are you talking about? I don't know what's going on in current Hearthstone, to be honest. But the impression I get, I watched a video. I watched one video about Hearthstone, and it other than yours, and it was Brian Kibler's State of Hearthstone video.
Right. Yes, that's a good video.
Yep. And my impression is that when you play this, basically, like you're playing for a future that doesn't actually exist. That's the impression I get of current Hearthstone. So I think we're waiting for Hearthstone to slow down, and then you can, but I bet people do love the idea of this card. I bet it's just not currently feasible at all.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
This card's playable.
Ooh. Tell me more.
I'm currently trying to find you a list that would describe why it's good. The main reason is Druid exists, and Druid runs a card.
Shit. The Druid tax.
Druid does run a card called Dungar, which I will show you what that is, because I think it's actually really relevant. And this is like reassurance in the late game for it. So let me just get it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a meta-defining card. It is not a meta-defining card, but people will play it in archetypes, especially Druid, if they need that late game assurance because they draw through their entire deck too quickly or whatever.
I do love that. I love the idea that there's something that can replace the fatigue effect with just a bunch of dum-dums. Like, that's really cool.
It is, like, I think this is my favorite card of the set. It's actually probably my favorite card in a very long time. I think it's really cool. Yeah, like like there are decks that are playable with this card.
Master Dungar, 9 mana, 3/3 battlecry. Summon 3 minions from your deck that are from different expansions.
So in this case,
wow.
The way that this would work, right, is you ramp to this card. If you draw Kil'jaeden, that sucks. But if you don't draw Kil'jaeden, then you have a late game threat as well as like all these minions that are going to come up, right? There are different variants of this. Druid plays this probably the most. Now, again, I think after rotation, this card's going to see a lot more play depending on what the next expansion is. It's very dependent on how powerful the next expansion will be, but this card has the potential to be in a lot of different decks.
Yeah, you can just turn into a demon portal. Yeah, like any deck can just be a demon portal if it wants to be. That's really cool, actually. Okay. I have seen a modern Hearthstone card that's playable. Let's go. Avatar of Hearthstone. It's kind of on the nose, isn't it?
I think that's kind of the point.
Like, this should be the last card they ever printed, and then they just end the game. 9 mana, 5/5 battlecry. Open a standard pack of... Okay. Play all the cards from it. How many cards were in a pack? Is it like 5?
5 packs. Yeah, 5 cards. Sorry, 5 cards. Yep.
This is awesome. All right. Well, it's a 6-for-1, a 5/5, and then 5 other random cards from a current standard pack. I mean, that's kind of cool. Play all of them. So, I mean, it helps reduce the cost of your, what is our big friend? You just said it. The Ceaseless Expanse. So,
okay,
yeah,
so
this is your 9.
I'm going to tell you something because it does matter.
Okay.
The cards that are played from your hand do not get its battle cry.
From the pack, you mean?
From the pack. So, like, this card's played, you get 5 cards. They're all played, but any minion that has a battle cry doesn't get it. You just get the minion on board.
God, that's a bummer. So like a micro yog, just 5 random things happen. I'm assuming targeting is random.
Targeting would be random, yeah.
So you could fireball.
It'd have to be a legal target, but yeah.
It's value, but it's that weird Hearthstone-y random-y value. It feels like you need something kind of for sure in your 9 mana card. Feels like at that stage you really want to know what's going to happen. So this feels Timmy to me.
Okay.
I do imagine the current standard packs are very powerful, so the possibilities are endless, but there's got to be a whole range. Like they have to serve all the classes and all the players. And cards from different classes probably don't work that well with cards that aren't from their class. I'm guessing that you need more certainty in a competitive environment for your 9 mana card. So I'm going to guess that this is a Timmy card.
And you'd be right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, this card is
it's
like
sick.
unplayable. It's such a, like, again, Hearthstone, the recent design team is so good at these like really niche ideas and concepts. They've gotten so good at it. Like Kil'jaeden's so cool, Avatar of Hearthstone's so cool, but some of these are just so fucking bad, and it's so unfortunate. Now I wonder if this card was like 7 mana, if it would be playable, but then that's a conversation of like how disgusting power creep has happened in Hearthstone for that to be playable.
Yeah. I mean, you're literally 6 cards in one, and if it were 7 mana, it's just like, what are we doing? What do we do with that? Yeah, this is a tough one to tweak.
Again, I don't know if I've shown you this card. I don't think I have, but you remember, let me know. Mimiron, yeah.
Mimiron's head, 5 mana, 4/5 mech. At the start of your turn, if you have at least 3 mechs, destroy them all and form V-07-TR-ON. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
And non-legally descript V-07-TR-ON. It's totally not Voltron. Is a 8 mana 4/8 charging Mega Wind Fury. Okay, Mega Wind Fury, bro. Come on.
You can attack 4 times.
Why not just make it infinite at this point? Just can attack until opponent is dead. How about that for a card? How's that for design? Okay. 5 mana for 4/5, and then you have to have 3 other mechs at the start of the following turn.
This counts. The Mimiron's head counts as 1, so you need 2 other ones to live.
And they need to live. God, is that asking too much? That's asking a lot.
I will say, for the record, this card came out in 2015. No, 2014, right at the end of the year.
Oh, okay. Older Hearthstone.
Way older Hearthstone.
Not everything died just for existing. Got it. Okay. And mechs were not bad back then, if I remember. I remember some
mechs were, the whole point of this expansion was goblins versus gnomes. Half the set was basically based around mechs.
Yeah. Mega Wind Fury. That must have been exciting for everybody involved.
Oh, God, let me tell you.
Oh, man. Dude. And I'm supposed to figure out if it was good or if just some yahoos played it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question, right?
Yeah, is it good? I mean, at least the payoff is a hell of a banger.
You're winning the game if you get this off.
Right.
Almost guaranteed. Like, you could look at it just like you win the game. Like, you might as well just read that.
3 mechs win the game. I think in Magic, you're getting playable. Like, that's in the range of, like, combo is pretty good. And mechs are actually a supported type. It puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. They really want to kill. I mean, I assume they can kill something. Like, that is just kind of the way that the game works. They can usually remove something, but maybe what they really want to do is take a chunk out of Mimiron's head, but they don't have the right sizing to do it, so they have to take on some smaller mech that has a death rattle that sets you up for the future, and they have to do things they don't want to do. You get a little taunter down there, you cause some problems, right? Like, yeah, dude, it's a good quest. At least it's a quest that, like, the payoff is not your life total is 8. You know, and you got to pay for a hero power.
Hey, man.
At least the payoff is here.
Rag is cool.
Yeah, Rag's getting strays. It's just the way it is. But then they might get sued by non-legally descript Voltron. They wouldn't make this good. They could get sued. This card is bad. Final answer.
Like, just because they can get sued? Interesting.
No. My careful analysis, not just the legal ramifications of V-07-TR-ON.
Okay, so this card is unfortunately horrible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Exactly.
Mimiron's had the problem with it, like I said, it was just having the mechs on board. And like, if this is a 5 mana 4/5, so it's already worse than a Yeti. And if your opponent just got rid of 1 mech, it is just so fucking depressing looking this thing on board, because then you can't trade. Like, you have to go face with this. You're not gonna trade with Mimiron's head. Like, you have to hope they don't kill the second mech. And then it's at that point, like, is it really worth hoping for the best? Now, in some situations, you could pull this off, but this is just such a slow, fun card, though. Like, it is just...
I got a question.
Cool. What's up?
when you have those effects that like say you had a demon portal type effect that only fetched 8 mana mechs, could it hit like from Hearthstone's history?
No.
Could it hit Voltron here?
So
no? You'll
notice on this card in particular, if you look at Voltron, actually look at Mimiron's head, right? You see how there's a gem under the, that's like, it's a legendary other than obviously the emblem on the top right. But if you look at Voltron, there's no gem. That signifies to people that this is not collectible and you can't randomly pull it out.
Okay.
Out of anything. So yeah, if you're ever curious on that for the future, like, yeah, that's the identifier, which is, it is unfortunate. Cool ass card though. Again, it's that like Hearthstone, especially in the older days, did a really good job of like these super wacky win conditions, and you just hope the best. But he was trying to please everybody, right? Yeah. Now in current Hearthstone, this card would be like, if you printed this effect, people would be like, why did they just waste the card in my expansion?
Pretty shameless appeal to the Voltron fans, by the way. Like just absolute shameless.
Why is it shameless?
Because it's so on the nose. It's like not even trying to be Pacific Rim. It's just being Voltron.
Listen, they can't get copyrighted. It is what it is.